What if I told you that working less, way less, could actually make you more money, more free, and more alive than you've ever felt in your life? Not some get-rich-quick nonsense, not a scam, a real system, a real philosophy, one that thousands of people around the world are already living by right now. The book is called The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss, and whether you're stuck in a job you hate, grinding 60-hour weeks, or just feeling like life is passing you by, this book is going to hit different. So stay with me, because by the end of this, you might just look at your whole life differently. Let's get into it. Here is a question most of us never stop to ask. Why do we work the way we work? Think about it. We wake up, we commute, we sit at a desk for 8, 9, 10 hours, we come home tired, we do it again for decades. And somewhere in the back of our minds, we tell ourselves, one day when I retire, I'll finally live. Timothy Ferriss calls that the deferred life plan, and he says it's broken. He argues that the goal was never really to be rich. The goal was always to feel free, to have the time, the money, and the ability to go wherever you want and do whatever you love. And here's the thing, you don't need $1 million to live like that. You just need a smarter system. Ferriss calls the people who figured this out the new rich. And no, they're not all millionaires. They're people who've redesigned their lives around two things, time and mobility. The new rich don't want to retire at 65. They want to live now. And the roadmap to get there? 4 steps. Ferriss calls it DEAL. Definition, elimination, automation, liberation. Let's walk through each one. The first step is definition. And this is where most people get it completely wrong before they've even started. See, we've been handed a set of rules about work and money that we never really questioned. Go to school, get a job, work hard, save, retire, then enjoy life. Ferriss says throw that rule book away. He lays out a really simple comparison. Think about how deferred lifers think versus how the new rich think. A deferred lifer wants to work for themselves one day. The new rich want other people working for them today. A deferred lifer wants to make a lot of money. The new rich want just enough money to chase their dreams, not more than they need. A deferred lifer wants to retire early and do nothing. The new rich want regular breaks doing what they love, scattered throughout their whole life, not just at the end of it. See the difference? It's a mindset shift more than anything else. Ferriss gives us 10 rules to live by in this new game. Let me give you the ones that really matter. Rule 1. Stop treating retirement as the goal. Plan for it, sure. Put money in your 401k, your ISA, whatever, but don't make it the entire point of your existence. You might not make it to retirement in good health. Live now. Rule 2. Energy is cyclical. You can't work at full intensity forever. Take short breaks, what Ferriss calls mini retirements, throughout your career. Recharge. Come back sharper. Rule 3. Doing less is not lazy if you're doing the right things. Being productive and being busy are not the same thing, not even close. Rule 4. The timing is never perfect. If you're waiting for the right moment to make a change, stop. That moment isn't coming. Start today. Rule 5. Ask for forgiveness, not permission. Go for things, make moves, say sorry later if you need to. Waiting for someone to give you the green light will keep you stuck forever. And here's one of my favorite ideas in the whole book. Ferriss talks about the difference between absolute income and relative income. Absolute income is just how much money you make. Relative income is how much you make per hour of your life. So let's say someone makes $80,000 a year but works 80 hours a week, and someone else makes $40,000 a year but only works 20 hours a week. Who's actually richer? When you think about it that way, the second person is. Their time is worth far more per hour, and time, unlike money, is something you can never get back. So the goal isn't to earn more hours worked, the goal is to earn more per hour. That one idea alone can change how you think about your entire career. Okay, step 2. Elimination. And this one is going to feel uncomfortable because it goes against almost everything we've been told about hard work. Ferriss says, stop trying to manage your time better. Yeah, he means it. Time management is what people do when they're okay with a deferred life. Instead, you need to massively increase what you get done per hour. Work smarter, not longer. To do that, Ferriss leans on two powerful ideas. The first is Pareto's Law, also called the 80-20 rule. It says that 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts. In other words, a tiny fraction of what you do is actually driving most of your success. The rest? It's just noise. The second is Parkinson's Law, which says a task will expand to fill whatever time you give it. Give yourself a week to write a report, and it'll take a week. Give yourself 2 hours, and somehow it gets done in 2 hours. Put these two ideas together, and here's what Ferriss tells you to do. Identify the handful of tasks that actually move the needle. Then give yourself tight deadlines to finish them. That's it. That's the whole productivity strategy. Simple, but brutal. And then there's the information diet. Ferriss is almost radical about this. He says most of us are drowning in information that we don't actually need. News, social media, emails, meetings, other people's opinions. And all of that noise is eating your time and your focus alive. His prescription? Go on a low information diet. Stop reading the news every morning. Stop refreshing your emails every 10 minutes. Cut out anything that isn't directly useful to your goals. Because if you're honest with yourself, most of the information you consume every day, you could live without it. Now I know what you're thinking, but I need to stay informed. Do you though? Really? Ferriss points out that the truly important things always find their way to you. If something massive happens in the world, someone will tell you. You don't need to be glued to a screen waiting for it. He also talks about some very practical stuff. Check your email twice a day, not every 5 minutes. Set up voicemail and be ruthless about callbacks. Batch your tasks together instead of jumping between different things. And learn to say no, warmly but firmly, to anything that doesn't serve your goals. The result? You free up the single most valuable thing you have: time. Step 3, automation. And this is where things start to get really exciting. The goal here is to build income that comes in without you having to be there every day making it happen. Ferriss calls this muse income, a cash flow that runs itself. Now, how do you actually do that? He breaks it down into 4 things. First, virtual assistants. This one blew my mind the first time I heard it. Ferriss says that most of us spend a huge chunk of our day doing low-value tasks, scheduling, research, admin, stuff that takes our time but doesn't require our brain. So, outsource it. With the internet, you can hire a skilled virtual assistant from almost anywhere in the world. Someone who handles your emails, books your appointments, does your research, manages your calendar for a fraction of what your own time is worth. Think about this. If your time is worth £25 an hour, and you can hire someone for £8 an hour to do tasks that used to take you 2 hours a day, you've just effectively bought back 10 hours a week. That's 10 hours a week to work on things that actually grow your income or your life. Second, find a niche product. This is about building a product, not a service, that can be sold while you sleep. Something in the 40 to 200 pound price range, targeted at a specific group of people who have a specific problem you can solve. A digital course, a specialist guide, a physical product, something that can be explained in one sentence and ordered online. The key insight here is it's always easier to fill existing demand than to create new demand. Don't try to convince people they need something. Find out what they're already searching for and give it to them. Third, test before you invest. Here's where Ferriss gets really clever. Before you spend thousands building your product, test whether people will actually buy it. Run a simple ad. Put up a basic website. See if people click. See if people order. If they do, you've got something. If they don't, you've learned a valuable lesson without losing much money. This approach saves so many people from sinking their savings into a business idea that nobody actually wants. Fourth, management by absence. Once your product is selling, the goal is to step away from the day-to-day running of it. Outsource fulfillment, outsource customer service. Give your team the authority to solve small problems without calling you. The question Ferriss keeps asking is, what would happen if I just didn't show up for 2 weeks? If the answer is, everything would fall apart, that's a sign you're still a bottleneck in your own business, and the goal is to fix that. When it's working, your income keeps flowing, whether you're at your desk or on a beach in Bali. That's the dream, and Ferriss argues it's more achievable than most people think. And finally, Step 4. Liberation. This is where everything comes together. Time? Check. Income? Check. Now, mobility. Ferriss's vision of liberation is being able to live and work from anywhere in the world, not being chained to one city, one office, one routine. And he breaks it into 3 phases. Phase 1, escape your boss. If you're still employed, the goal is to negotiate your way to remote work, or if that fails, to build the confidence to leave. Ferriss gives a brilliant step-by-step playbook here. First, make yourself more valuable at work. Maybe propose a training course the company pays for. Then, demonstrate that you can work just as effectively from home. Track your results, build a data-driven case that you're more productive outside the office. Most bosses, when shown the numbers, will agree to a remote arrangement. And if they won't, that's the sign you need to take the leap and go fully independent. He also addresses all the fears people have about quitting. What about bills? Build your automated income first. Eliminate unnecessary expenses. What about health insurance? Sort it yourself. It costs less than you think. What about my CV? A gap year traveling the world looks interesting, not irresponsible. The world doesn't end when you quit your job. Thousands of people do it every day. Most of them are fine. Phase 2, take mini retirements. Instead of working for 40 years and then retiring, take your retirement now in smaller pieces, spread throughout your life. Spend 3 months in Portugal, 6 months in Thailand, a season in Argentina. Live cheaply in beautiful places, work a few focused hours a day, and actually experience the world rather than just watching it on Instagram. And here's something Ferriss mentions that I love. Living abroad is often cheaper than staying home. No rent on your usual place, lower cost of living, favorable currency exchange. You might actually save money while living your best life. He also talks about how going away forces you to declutter both your possessions and your commitments. When you're paying to store stuff, you quickly decide what actually matters. Phase 3, find meaning. This is the part people don't expect from a productivity book, but Ferriss is honest about it. He says at some point when you freed up your time and your money, you might feel a bit lost, a bit guilty, a bit purposeless. And that's actually a real thing. When the grind stops, some people panic because the grind was what gave them identity. So his advice is to find something meaningful. Learn a language, volunteer for a cause you believe in, find work that doesn't feel like work. Revisit the dreams you had as a kid before the world told you they were unrealistic. Because here's the thing. The 4-hour workweek was never really about not working. It's about working on the right things, the things that excite you, the things that make you feel alive. Steve Jobs once said, and Ferriss quotes this, that every morning he looked in the mirror and asked himself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do today? If the answer is no too many days in a row, something has to change. So let's bring it all home. DEAL. Definition: rewrite the rules. Stop chasing retirement and start building a life you actually want to live right now. Elimination: do less, but do what matters. Protect your time like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. Automation: build income streams that don't need you to be present 24/7. Let your money work while you live. Liberation: be free. Work from anywhere. Travel. Experience life fully, not just on a 2-week holiday once a year. Tim Ferriss wrote this book almost 20 years ago, and honestly, it feels even more relevant today. More of us work remotely, more of us have the tools to build online businesses, more of us are questioning whether the traditional path was ever the right one. You don't have to do everything in this book, but even doing one thing differently, protecting your time, starting a side project, negotiating 1 day at home per week can start to change everything. Because the question isn't, can you live differently? The question is, are you willing to? And look, I've given you the summary, the key ideas, the framework, but this book has so much more in it. Real stories, detailed examples, step-by-step action plans that go way deeper than what we covered today. So if any of this resonated with you, go buy the book. It's called The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss. The link is right there in the description below. It's one of those books you'll read once and think about for years. And hey, if this video added some value to your day, do me a small favor. Hit that like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need to hear this stuff. Share this video with one friend, just one, who you think is stuck in the grind and needs a new perspective. You might just change their life. And if you haven't already, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a video. We break down the world's best books just like this every single week. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.